presentation to just make before all of you. The screen is the presentation is visible, ma?
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir. We can see the
Visible.
presentation.
Yeah. So this is the slide, first slide.
Yes.
Is it okay? My audio, then screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Everything is fine,
right,
sir.
right, ma'am. So this was a topic given to me by Dr. Murali Krishna sir, and I just know looking at this topic and then started collecting data from different sources, and I got several issues related to this topic, but I just confined myself for this um, 1 hour, maybe 45 minutes. We'll just run through these slides. Of course, it is somewhat it's a blend of both theoretical as well as the practical dimension of entrepreneurship and innovation. And we can just look at how you can just identify career opportunities in the process, right? So, in this presentation, in the beginning, I think there are several the parts in this presentation, and maybe in the beginning we just discuss about youth entrepreneurship, right? And young people, why they look for entrepreneurship instead of placement, working under someone. Okay, this is one part, and then the second part would be we will understand the basic issues of innovation, creativity, and invention, and then various dimensions of invention, innovation, and the types of innovation, uh, then various issues related to innovation, because the innovation is one area that is actually required for our students. Otherwise, what happens? We have a kind of standardized, conventional set of mind frame where we are always thinking like a students, and then always we are just confined to our class work and looking for no lectures delivered by the teachers and taking notes, and then finally we are focusing on exams and then marks, and then we just always bothered about our final degrees, right? So this is I feel it is a very traditional thought process, and we need something out of this, and see that your teaching and learning and exams and final your degree so all supposed to be a byproduct. So when I say that it's a byproduct, your ultimate acquiring degree from your structured education system, so that's supposed to be a byproduct. So what is that main product that you are you're supposed to look for? So the main product is preparing yourself for your future, and preparing yourself for your future, and no, in the process you just discover yourself, identify yourself, what you are and what for you are, right? And there are always several options, right? There are always several options. So when you just look at the several options, so how many options you are going to explore when you are studying at the master's level, and especially the professional course like management, right? So when you are studying management program, so your thought process and then identifying options are not supposed to be just only to gaining a degree, or beyond that looking for final placement, right? So funnel placement, of course, it is one option, but is it the time to just still look for funnel placement to work under someone, right? So we have seen in our country several stages of economy, right? And up to 1991, you all might have understood in your regular classes, we had economy where the economy was regulated, controlled, and protected, right? So the economy was before 1991, so regulated, protected, and controlled. So that was the economy. So in that economy, if you expect a job, no, to work under someone, so there is a
Sorry to
logic and there
interrupt
is
you.
a kind of reason behind it because
Sir,
economy was closed and
sorry to interrupt you, sir. The
yes,
slide is
yes,
not
please.
changing. The
Yeah,
slide
I'm
is not.
not changing. I'm just
Okay.
explaining
Okay, sir.
because I'll be changing later on.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Just I want to give you some kind of background
Okay, sir.
and no, I want to create a context for the talk. So
Okay, sir.
that
Okay.
was the idea, right?
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So here in the closed economy, uh, always you are no, we are preparing to work under someone. So there is no space for innovation, no need of any creativity because we are going to work under someone. So when that was the situation, so the innovation and creativity and entrepreneurship, no, this subject is very far away from all of us, right? So that no, was the period before 1991, my dear student friends. Now, since 1991, when we started experiencing globalization, liberalization, and privatization, we call them no, LPG, right? Three, the major principles of open economy, right? In the open economy, you could see that the public sector is reducing its size, and then private sector is expanding year after year. So last no more than 20 years. So what happened? Uh, we could see uh, private sector is playing a major role in Indian economy, right? So there are several no, advantages and then benefits the society has received because of last 20 years open economy or even the economy that is characterized with globalization, privatization, and then liberalization. So, in this open economy, young people like you, right? And I think your age also is almost all maybe 2021, and you all might have born at the time of introducing new economy, right? So, you all, I think, no, just know your life started with the time when liberalization, globalization, and privatization introduced in the Indian economy. So in this the economy model, so now we have the space for innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship, right? So we can say that this is going to be the order, and then so the people like you, youngsters, young people, and you are so fortunate to have the present context and present no, environment. I can say that ecosystem in which you are so fortunate to not to work under someone. It is to it is to start on your own as self-employed no, startup entrepreneur. So you can start your own venture and you can become boss of your own, right? You can become boss of your own instead of working under someone. So instead of accepting somebody as your boss, right? So instead of following someone, instead of taking instructions from somebody, right? You just take a position to pass on instructions to others and become a boss to others, make others to follow you, right? It is the time. So because even when we were students, maybe 25, 30 years back, right? We were students and we never thought of becoming no entrepreneur. Or we never found any opportunity for us to open our mind towards no, thinking about innovation and then no, creativity as far as business is concerned. So in this the context, if you just look at the entrepreneurial thinking, right? Developing entrepreneurial thinking. So if you see an entrepreneurial thinking or mindset includes aspects of personality and then social identity. You can see that the present personality that is there. Earlier, when I want to develop myself as a potential resource, even for everything, no, I have to put a lot of efforts, right? Even if I want to get material, I have to visit libraries. Even if I want to, study, I have to, go to a faraway places to, take my, the course of choice, right? And even for any kind of, the development, so that is not so easy. It is out of several hardships, right? That is what I want to mention here. So here in the present context where we have the digital, the world in front of us, right? Digital plates are there. Digital world is very much created for you. The world is a small digital village, and in this the scenario, whatever that you want and whatever you want to access anywhere in the world, it is just fingertips, right? Everything you can access and everything you can see visually. So wherever you want to travel, virtually you can travel. So that is the environment. And in this context, what is that you can do is just only making use of all these the facilities and opportunities and try to just develop your personality. So that is one important aspect, right? So the personal ambition and then goals. At the same time, when you look at the thought process that is required as an entrepreneur, so first of all, the ambition and then goals, right? And so the goal or ambition is not just only a kind of package that you are looking for a job, and the package that gives you honorarium for every calendar of year, right? So maybe you will be getting a salary 12 times in a year because there are 12 months. So to get a salary, you have to wait for 30 days, right? So that means what you are doing here. So when your ambition is just only confined to the final placement, you are selling the time, not your talent, right? You are selling your 30 days time to get monthly salary, right? Is it worth, my dear students, your ambition and then goal? Is it a final placement? Are you just looking for only final placement? And final placement in the sense, what does it mean? You are just waiting for 30 days to get your monthly salary, right? And you are getting the salary for the 30 days time, not for actually your talent. And you all see how talented, right? These days, young youth, they are highly talented in the entire the human history. So these youth are more talented in terms of their sharpness, in terms of their analytical ability, interpretation, and then in all sense, because they just born with all these the facilities and then the services at their disposal. So with having all these things, your ambition goals supposed to be not for selling your time, it is for selling your the talent, right? When you are preparing yourself, your ambition goals to sell your talent, so then you will be getting the huge returns on your sale of your talent. So at any time, maybe within a day, within 1 week, so maybe at any time you may get remuneration, then honorarium for your talent. So here, what is required? Your mindset supposed to be ambition and then goals beyond your placement, and then think that you are going to become a boss, and then you are going to start your own venture. And personal confidence and then resilience. When you just look at the confidence level, so what is actually working as an obstacle for you, right? No obstacles, because so now you are without any boundaries, and your thinking is boundaryless, right? Your thinking has no boundaries, and you can expand your thinking without any boundaries, and you can see that there are no boundaries at all, boundaryless in all sense. So in that aspect, your confidence level is supposed to be at any given point. No, so then you can see that you are just integrating all in terms of your networking and then your activities. You can just think in that sense. So then when you see that the self-discipline and then personal organization. So here the given your the family background, and then maybe the given your the present environment, especially the government side also. The government is giving all types of assistance, maybe the government in the sense as a whole, maybe that varies from the state to state, but the central level you will find there are so many opportunities. So the given such opportunities, your self discipline and then your personal organization supposed to be to that extent, and you need to raise up to the occasion. So in terms of the self discipline, see that you are you have your own, because since you are studying management, the first of all you have to start managing first of all yourself, right? How best you manage yourself for your bright and then better future. And at the same time, and you have to understand your own motive. So in terms of how motivated you are, because nothing is going to demotivate us, nothing is going to give any kind of limitations for us, right? So the sky is the limit, my dear students. These days the sky is the limit, so you can see up to that extent your motivation level and ability to go beyond the perceived limitations and then achieve the result. So always you can see, so these are the main issues, like a tolerance of uncertainty, ambiguity, risk, and then failure. So you are so fortunate, and then no, the generation of Y, you can go beyond all these things with certain the standards like personal values and ethical, the social, and then environmental awareness. So these are the main issues that you need to look at from the mindset point of view. So first of all, let us just look at this mindset, and you have to feel that you are not thinking like a student first of all. So just take out that feeling of student, my dear students, right? So you just take out that the feeling of student, and then you are a participant of the management program, right? Participants are all equal, and even you can just conversate and communicate at par with others, like an executive or even manager. So that is what is required, right? So now just look at the youth entrepreneurship. So the youth, in the sense, if you just look at the youth, so the age is maybe around 20 and 30 in between. You can see that what you can do, and if you see last the 20 years, last 20 years, you can see there are many young people when they are in the UG at the age of 12th standard. So recently you can see that someone has received a youngest entrepreneur award from the government of India, right? So that person started business at the age of 16, right? At the age of 16. And then when the gentleman was studying commerce in Delhi, Ramanujan College under Delhi University. So the boy, they started his own business, and then they became, a kind of model for many youth in this country, right? So in that respect, you can see that the entrepreneur, in the sense, it is not that you have to have a age or even some experience, right? It's not required. So of course, for some businesses you require some age and then experience. It depends on the volume. But if you want to to start your business in a comfortable way without much investment and without much risk, now you have such type of environment and conditions in the present scenario. So in that context, I'm just going to talk about this youth entrepreneurship. If you just look at the youth in the world, right? So youth in the world, right? So young people represents in India in the world, right? So represents 1/5 of the world's population and 50% of the total unemployed global workforce, right? So youth has that much number. And when you just see, So the youth unemployment is one of the major challenge faced by most of the governments in the world, right? And not only in India, many the parts of the world. So the countries were talking about unemployment and underemployment, and even in India, we have a lot of underemployment, and even the report says that national employment, no, National Employment Report, and even World Bank report, and many the reports, even private agencies like a FICCI, then ASSOCHAM. So there are some reports about employment of Indian graduates, and including engineering as well as MBA graduates, right? So you all might be aware of that. So you'll find unemployed or even underemployed the graduates in India, the percentage is more than no, employable graduates, right? And the statistics shows that sometime back it was nearly 70% of Indian graduates, management graduates, are not employable, right? Maybe there are several reasons for that. So you can see such type of the problems in the. So then you can see that youth comprises more than 98 millions of the total of 192 millions unemployed the people. So out of 192, you can see the 98 millions no, are no, youth. Then when you see that 85% of these people live in developing countries, right? So 85% of these people live in the developing countries. So the developed countries, the youth and their employment are self-employment is better than developing nations. So 85% of these people live in the developing countries, and over quarter of all youth in sub-Sahara are unemployed. Then one out of seven youth in developed countries are either in education or in employment, right? So that is the situation in the no, youth in the world, right? So keeping in mind these, if you just see the challenges of youth entrepreneurship, there are certain issues when you talk about youth entrepreneurship, right? So youth entrepreneurship, generally we have certain limitations and challenges, right? Like a social and then cultural attitude towards young entrepreneurs. And when you see that the society like India, in India, when you want to start your own business, instead of getting support and then motivation, and most of the people will try to discourage you, right? Many people will try to discourage you because no, you are young, and then always we just see that young people they are not that much matured enough, and then they have their own you know limitations. So keeping in mind all these things, so we just see that the social and then cultural attitude towards young entrepreneurs are not being seriously by the colleagues or even business the contacts. So their maturity level is less, and they are not able to handle on their own any kind of business ventures. So these kind of notions and beliefs are there. And at the same time, you can see that age discriminations by suppliers or the customers. So when young people are there, so always we just undermine the young people given the age, because we just give more weightage for age instead of the talent and then the abilities and capabilities. So then the difficulties in attracting funding to the business. So at the same time, if the young person is going and then approaching any kind of bankers, financiers, so always they doubt about repayment of the no, the loan. So like that, you will find certain issues. At the same time, you can see the lack of the support from family and then friends. So when a young person wants to start their the business, young people, so the, first of all, from the family side, you will not find any support, because our family system is totally different, where always we want to be in the safe side and then secured manner, right? So we are not ready to take any kind of risk. So whenever you just talk about the entrepreneurship, it is all about no, involvement of risk, and that one has to be very calculative in taking risks and understanding intensify the risk in the business, right? So the since our system, the family system, and in our society is not up to that, and even not ready to take any kind of risk generally. So there is a discouragement for the young people to become the entrepreneur. Okay, so this is the one limit, and most of the parents. So when you are in college studying professional course like management, always they talk about you just get the good placement with highest package, right? So most of the parents they just suggest and expect the good placement for their wards, right? It is not suggesting why don't you start your own venture? You are studying management and you understand business world, understand the dynamics of industry, and why don't you start your own venture and then you can just create employment for others. So the parents generally aware of that. So there is a risk in this, and we don't know whether we are going to be successful or not in the business. With that thought process, with that mind, so then what happens? So the family and then friends always they are on the other side. So instead of giving the positive the push and then encouragement. So in this context, we find these are the challenges in front of the youth when they want to become entrepreneurs, right? So if you just look at the youth entrepreneurship, why it is required in Indian context. If you just see, entrepreneurship, why it is required. If you just see, about 54% of our population is under the age of 35, and close to 15 million enter the workforce every year, right? So in the country like India, uh, our youth is more than 50%. Okay, and so their age group is less than 35. And every year, if you just look at the engineering colleges and then professional courses like management, law, no, all other professional programs, so nearly 15 million the people are just coming out and then ready to take up the employment, right? So if we have that much requirement in terms of employment, 15 million, who is going to provide that much employment, right? So we have youth, and nearly 50% of our population less than 35 years of age, and with that the strong manpower and the strong the force, young force, and when we want to create the 15 million employment, 15 million the jobs, then how to create? So this is actually the again the space and opportunity for the management graduates like you have the manpower, right? Skilled manpower and seeking employment. So why don't you just start your own venture and generate employment for others, right? So here in this context, you can see that entrepreneurship is the only way through which enough jobs can be created for such a huge populace, right? So only the entrepreneurship is going to give the solution for this kind of the huge demand of employment. So the young innovative minds. So when you just look at the young minds, as you just know, understand the book from APJ Abdul Kalam, right? Young minds, igniting young minds. So igniting young minds in the sense, your mind is totally different. Okay, your minds are totally different, and the way you think, the way you just analyze, the way you experience, even the using the smartphone and using various information technology devices, you are the best, and then you know the better than anyone, right? So you can see that how sharp you are, but only that the sharp mind and then intellectual mind, how we are using and what for we are using, that we need to think and then understand. And at the same time, this young innovative minds, and then so they're supposed to look for towards the innovation, towards entrepreneurship. And at the same time, if you just see the governments and then industry initiatives which are there to promote and then innovate and then entrepreneurship. Unfortunately, the last several years, especially when we have this liberalization, globalization, privatization. So the government, irrespective of their background, political background, so almost all governments now they are giving a lot of emphasis and then giving importance for entrepreneurial activities because there is a lot of competition among the nations in the globalization. So all are trying to gain out of globalization. The gaining out of globalization comes when every nation is strong and then they stand on its own with its the strong resources. So one among the resources is entrepreneurial the resources. If you are not doing business, so somebody will come and do business with us, right? And if we are not doing business among ourselves, so somebody will come and then do business among ourselves. They will take gain and then they will take away all our resources. So in that context, the government is there and government initiatives are there, and then we can just make use of all these initiatives. We can just promote the innovation and entrepreneurship among youth. When you look at the youth entrepreneurship, so what does it mean exactly, youth entrepreneurship? You might have studied about the entrepreneurship, or you can just understand what is an entrepreneurship if you just Google, or you can just open any kind of textbook on entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship development, right? So when you just see that youth entrepreneurship, unfortunately, there is no general no agreed definitions as far as youth entrepreneurship is concerned. However, so entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship is the recognition of an opportunity to create value and the process of acting on it on this opportunity, whether or not in involving the formation of a new entity. So while concepts such as innovation and then risk taking in particular are usually associated with the entrepreneurship, they are not necessary to define them in terms. So because since the young people they are more innovative than the older people, because older people their mind and then the brain cells and then thought process thinking level little bit inactive, and then it is not that much sharp like youth. So in entrepreneurship, what is required when you want to find out opportunities or you want to create a value, so the sharp mind and innovation is more important. So here in that context, of course, risk taking may not be among the youth because their experience is less. But as far as innovation is concerned, so they can just calculate out of this innovative mind. So the quantum of this risk, and then they can think of becoming youth entrepreneurs, right? So if you just see the scenario in India, right? Scenario in India. So the scenario in India is some extent is very encouraging last couple of years. You can understand, you might have seen these the issues like India has become an emerging market for global investors and then entrepreneurs. Unlike past, so we are also one among the fastest the growing economies and the strongest economies, right? So that is a great opportunity, and there are many countries in the world, they are not like us, right? And their the economy is not like our economy in terms of the growth and in terms of having variety of entrepreneurial activities. So whereas in India, having its the huge size and then the great resources, even man-made or even natural made resources, so one can find out wonderful opportunities because it's a big market. India itself is a big market, and it is very attractive market and potential market for any kind of product. So that is what the world is looking for India, right? India is a great market, and it's highly potential market for any product. Right? When someone is coming from outside and then finding a market and then doing business with in our the land, why can't we just identify the same kind of opportunities and same kind of business venture, and then why can't we make wealth and then create employment for our people, right? So this is the way you can see that the scenario in India, a stable business environment and market oriented reforms are in place. You can see that many things that are happening in India as far as the present context is concerned. I say that we are so fortunate to have all these things. And here the key initiatives like Make in India, the campaign is there, Digital India is there, and Mudra Yojana is there. Atal Innovation Mission is there, and 59 minutes the loan. So that means within 1 hour you are going to get a loan, right? So these are the certain the steps taken by the governments, the central government and some of the state governments. They are so proactive, like Gujarat and even Maharashtra, even Tamil Nadu, right? And then even small states like no, Uttarakhand. So you'll find some of the states, and then even Arunachal, even Himachal Pradesh, Haryana. So there are some states are very dynamic and then active, and they are just giving the license, and then even the bankers and then financiers are so liberal in terms of providing financial support. So these days the finance is not at all an issue, my dear student friends. Whenever you have a good idea and a great idea, so there is a saying that Mukesh Ambani used to say that when we have when a business knows its business, the business can do business, right? So when business is there with the potential, so all resources will come on its own.
Not able to hear your voice, sir.
Sir, it appears that our guest is offline, sir, due to maybe network issues. It is showing as uh, network issues only, low bandwidth.
Okay, okay, okay.
So, let us wait for 2 minutes, sir.
Look for, and then I'm just going to just give you the complete Indian ecosystem, entrepreneurial
Sir,
ecosystem in the last
sir,
part of the presentation, and there you will get the complete idea. So what kind of business opportunities are there in India to develop your career, right? You can plan your career and you can develop your career opportunities. So maybe based on no, entrepreneurial ecosystem that is existing in context, right? Organizing the grand challenges, you can see that several no, events are organized
excuse me,
to
sir.
just
Sir,
yeah, please.
previously we lost your audio in the previous slide, sir.
Okay, okay. Just kindly just inform me whenever you have any issue.
Actually, it showed
Yeah.
that you are offline.
Acha. Now, could you see that previous slide?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the scenario in India. So if you just look at the present scenario in India, it is all about no, India is emerging the market, and you can see that global investors they are looking for India to start their own ventures, and then here there are multiple the benefits for you. So you can start no, the domestic um, the startup, and at the same time whenever you have many multinational companies, and then the global investors are looking for India, you can become a kind of franchise for them, right? You can become a franchise for them, and then you can become a part of that business. because the many businesses like FMCG products, and then even fast moving the products, and so these products, what happens, there are multinational the companies from China, Japan, and then even from Europe. So they want someone to just provide the ground in India, right? So in that way, the global investors, they are looking for partners from India. So you can just find out that kind of the multinational companies to join with them, and then you can create the platform for them. You, as a joint venture, you can become entrepreneur, right? So in that context, you can see, because the government has created that kind of environment. Okay, so besides that, the key initiatives by government, like Make in India, Digital India, Mudra Yojana, Atal Innovation Mission, and 59 minutes the loan. So that means you can see that within 1 hour you will get the finance. Okay, so the Stand Up India, the Startup India. So all these are various encouraging, aspiring, and then ambitious young Indians. So you can see all these are targeted young people. It is not no experienced or even old age the people to start their business. So all these initiatives by Government of India exclusively targeted young people. And at the same time, if you just look at the number of incubators increasing by 40% every year, and startups are staring at a bright future. So this is another indication. And then even institutions like IIMs and IITs and NITs and the universities and institutions like yours, right? And then the Vigyan. So having all these incubation centers and labs, and there are many the businesses are started or taken birth in the labs. So your lab, what I think the principal madam was mentioning in the beginning, your lab can become a kind of birthplace for many business ventures, because that can become a think tank, and then you can spend time in your lab, focus on your parts and then ideas as an entrepreneurial mindset, come out with your ideas, and then develop your own business model by using your the labs and then incubation centers, right? So in that context, you can see entrepreneurial ecosystem. The ecosystem that is there in India, of course, I'm just going to discuss these the last part of my presentation, right? And this ecosystem really provides you a great challenge, right? And there are many events, and then exhibitions are conducted throughout India to develop entrepreneurial spirit, and then the self the confidence, right? So the funding support and creation of you'll find several activities, and then capacity building and existing incubations, and then ease of doing business, and then tax benefits. So you'll find the several supporting systems in place, and those will really will encourage and then motivate you to become entrepreneur, right? Apart from all these high technology and then advanced innovations based on the entrepreneurship, that is another advantage, because if you just look at the India is one among the renowned the part for all types of software exports, right? So having that kind of technology, ICT devices, and then technology in our hand, so why can't we just leverage this opportunity in our country, right? So this is the system that is there in front of us, right? If you just see the types of youth entrepreneurs, so there are I think age-wise you can see some classification as far as youth entrepreneurship is concerned. So it is based on the economic, social, and then public entrepreneurship. So that is economy related, and then social issues like some of the social entrepreneurship related, and the public related entrepreneurship. So you can see all these. So entrepreneurship like a corporate entrepreneurship, and then cooperations, and then categorization of youth entrepreneurship like pre-entrepreneurship 15 to 19, and then budding entrepreneurship 20 to 25, and the emergent entrepreneurship like 25 to 29. So you can see these are the different stages. So when you talk about entrepreneurship, it is not that you have to have the huge the fund in your hand. You need so much working capital, or you need some resources. You need so many people to work. You need a big idea, or even a big organization, and then big land or machinery. No, nothing. So you can just start thinking now like an entrepreneur, right? You can just start the pre-entrepreneurial thought process. It is the time to think like a businessman, right? So when you start no, pre-entrepreneur thinking, so then you can think about your time, think about your resources, think about your background, think about your no, social system, think about your no, networking, think about your relatives, think about the place where you are. So you can just explore advantages that are there in all these, right? So make use of these advantages and then start thinking and try to become pre-entrepreneur. So pre-entrepreneur is developing mindset. So mindset of entrepreneur. And then once you just come out with that pre-entrepreneur, so you'll have a business plan in your hand and then start your business in a small scale and a small way, and then you can just enter into the budding entrepreneur. So you can just slowly start your journey, and then you can just slowly can withstand until you just reach the 30 years. So that means you have nearly 10 years in your hand to stand as a true entrepreneur. So before that you have so several ways to just test yourself and then experience and then commit mistakes and then learn out of the mistakes. And then first of all you need to dare to commit a mistake, and the committing mistake is not a mistake, my dear friends, and then not committing a mistake is a true mistake, right? So if you're not committing a mistake, you're not going to learn, right? So by thinking that what will happen if I do this, so if you just think in that way, you can't do anything in your rest of life. So in that context, you can see that how you can become entrepreneur by following these the stages. Now let me just talk about the youth and then creativity and innovation. Okay, so so far whatever that we have discussed, it is all about the background, so what is entrepreneurship, and then what kind of environment is there, and then what kind of system that surrounded you. In that system you can start thinking like entrepreneur. So we used to say that even my teachers used to tell that when I was like you, so my teacher told that you start thinking like a manager, right? So thinking like a manager means no, I'm just going to work under somebody as a manager, as a junior manager, as a management trainee, right? So now I'm not going to tell my students think like a manager. So now I'm just saying that think like an entrepreneur, and try to just hire managers, right? Try to hire managers. So that means you have a choice. You want to think like a manager or you want to think like entrepreneur, right? Option is yours, right? So because it is all about if you want to become a manager, it is selling your time, the time that is there for you, your time you are selling. And if it is thinking like an entrepreneur, you are selling your talent, and then so the value of your talent is uncountable. We can't count the value of your talent. You can count the value of time, right? Because per day you can count, per 1 week you can count, per month you can count, per annum you can count. If you are getting a package of say 6 lakhs per annum, you can count very well. So your value and your worth. That means if you are accepting a package of 6 lakhs per annum, so that means your value is 6 lakhs per annum. That means 3 days and then 12 months, right? Is it that your talent? Is it confined to only that extent, right? Now the fertile land, so to become one of the great resource of this nation, to become a part of nation's building, so that our economy is going to develop, our nation is at par with the developed nations, not developing nations. So it is in your hands, right? So with that, let me just check. Ma'am, I'm with you. Atiti ma'am, am I connected?
Yes, sir. You are connected, sir.
Yeah, right. So now just we look at the innovations and why this innovation is related to entrepreneurship. So invention and then innovation need imagination. So first of all, you need imagination. So imagination is very unique characteristics of humans, right? We are all human beings. We have so unique characteristics, my dear friends, right? So no other living thing has this character, imagination character. No other living thing. There are many living things in the universe, right? Among all living things, human being is one, right? Human being is one among several living things, right? So like animals or even there are many living things. So as a human being, so we have a special characteristics, that is imagination. So we have a power of imagination. When you are sitting in a ground, or even when you are sitting in front of TV and watching cricket, right? Your imagination power, right, in terms of the, the people who are actually batting, right? People who are actually bowling, right? And if you are supporting India, so if India is batting and then our no the players are playing cricket, and then batting is going on. So when they are batting, and then when the hit is they give say 4 runs, and your imagination is sometimes so it would be no, the bat would be hit the ball in that manner, in this fashion, and in that case the ball would have crossed boundaries, and then we would have got 6 runs. So this kind of imagination is there with us, right? Similarly, so when you are in mall, when you are in a mall, when you are watching movie, when you are when you went for the window shopping, so when you went outside with your friends, when you are sitting somewhere in a corner of the road, so why don't you just imagine by just observing things that are there around you, right? So even whatever that you are no, say enjoying evening snacks, or even no, some kind of the food that you are eating. So while eating, why don't you think something differently? Come out with some kind of imagination. You can create your own brand, like someone created KFC, right? And someone created no a brand of no noodles. Someone created a brand of say what is that coffee day, right? So somebody created this the coffee day, and then they created a brand, right? And like why don't you just imagine yourself? Why don't you just come out with imagination, and then imagination leads to some kind of invention of some new idea. Maybe no, you might be knowing that red bus that we are using for booking tickets. I think many no the cases are there, and then many people might have told you. So the best thing is imagination, and imagination is at this point of time. So I want to know that whether the bus is there to take me to Bangalore to say Vijayawada, or Bangalore to the Visakhapatnam. So if that imagination is I want the bus, I want to know the bus at this point of time, right? So how I can find out whether the bus is available or not? So just come out with imagination, and then that leads to a kind of invention and innovation. In that perspective, you can see that no, imagination is more important no, for a kind of creativity and innovation. So when you just look at the creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship, how these three are very much related to each other. So let us try to understand, right? So the creativity is the ability to develop new ideas and to discover new ways of looking at problems and then opportunities, right? So the creativity is the ability to develop new ideas and to discover new ways of looking at problem and then opportunities. And then when you just look at the creativity, so we have the imagination power. When we have the imagination gives us right. So the source and the channel to come out to creativity, right? We'll get an idea. So when we have an idea, so then we are looking at the problem, and then we are thinking about the solution in imagination way. Imagination is the source of finding the solution. And at the same time, if you just see the innovation is the ability to apply creative solutions to those problems, and then opportunities to in order to enhance the people's lives and to enrich the society. So innovation is something again you can see when we have idea, right? And that idea we are just using to enhance the existing the system. right? So when you have a system that is there in the medical, the process in the public health centers, right? And the same process you can just do it something differently in an innovative way. You can reduce the time span, you can reduce the resources, so you can give a better service and the quality service. So that is an innovative way of rendering service in the public health center by a medical officer, right? So that is you can see that the difference between the creativity and innovation. When you just look at the entrepreneurship, is the result of a disciplined, systematic process of applying creativity and innovation to needs and opportunities in the marketplace. So we are just using this innovation creativity, right? And then applying these our needs and then opportunities that are there in the marketplace. So when we are just using these in the marketplace and exploring opportunities and then using opportunities, then you can just you can become entrepreneur and you can create a service or a product to the market and then serve the customers and you can create a wealth out of it, right? So entrepreneurs are those who marry their the creative ideas with the purposeful actions and then the structure of a business. So you can see that all these are interrelated, and then entrepreneurs are very much required. Thinking out of the box, and then they must be very imaginative and then creative and then innovative in their the way they look at the opportunities, the way they look at the marketplace, and then they can create a wealth for the society. Okay, so this is all about linking among these three terminologies. Yeah, when you say that entrepreneurship and creativity and innovation, and the creativity is the thinking new things, and the innovation is doing new things, right? So you can see the difference between the creativity and innovation. Creativity is the thinking new things, right? And innovation is doing new things. So these are the differences. And creativity is the ability to develop new ideas and then discover new ways of looking at the problem and then opportunities. As a whole, you can see that entrepreneurship is nothing but creativity plus innovation. That means the job of job of entrepreneurship mostly involves, and it is all about dealing with creative and innovation. Then innovation and then entrepreneurship. It is the process by which the entrepreneurs convert opportunities into the marketable ideas, right? And it is a combination of the vision to create a good idea and then perseverance and then dedication to remain the concept through implementation. And innovation is a key function in the entrepreneurial process and is a specific function of entrepreneurs. So why it is a specific function? So because you are thinking ahead to others, and you are no, somewhat abnormal. It is not a normal thought process, and you are thinking ahead and looking at the resources, looking at the needs, and looking at the opportunities, and then thinking differently and coming out with new methods and new process. And in an innovative way, you are trying to serve the customers in a marketplace. So in that way, you can see that innovation and the innovation and then entrepreneurship. So of course there are some kind of the apprehensions about the innovations, whether this innovation is a planned and then predictable, or something which is spontaneous, or the technology is required for innovation. So it is something many myths are there. So innovation is something required. So a situation. So it is not that any other factor. A situation is required. In the situation, when you think through the situation, so you'll get the innovation, and then you'll find the new ways. So for example, if you see that invention and then innovation, so invention is something like designing a cycle, and innovation is over and above. You can just see that a lot of improvement and then adding new features, and the giving a different shape and then size and then the model, and so all these things comes under the innovation, right? So if you just see that invention is something, all these the bulb, or even a telephone, or a pin, or something like a car, or even the mobile. So all these are inventions. So over and above, you can see that now the innovation is the smartphones. So if you see that the base model is without a touch screen. So the phone is innovation. Mobile phone is is a creative and the invention, And then innovation is introducing the touch screen, and then extra features, and then so many advanced features like a camera with high end the pixel. All these things are innovation. So if you see that the requirement of all these things, the youth and the young people, so they are better in having all these things, right? So why we just know why we need innovation? So why we need innovations, and what are the reasons to be innovative, right? So innovation is not there in the present context. What will happen as a student? What will happen? You must be very innovative even in your career planning and career development also, my dear students, right? The way you just come out with your innovative activities. So you have to understand in which context you are, in which context you are. You are in a highly competitive environment. You are highly competitive environment. The competition is surrounded you, right? And no safety, no security, no rebates or no debates, no discounts as far as your career is concerned. So everything depends on your strength and stamina, and then your talent, and then your competence and capabilities. So here you have to be innovative because the competition is keeping ahead of the competitors. So when you are competitive, so you are head to the other competitors. So the competition in the competition, what happens when you are innovative? So you are better than your the competitors, right? You have a competitors even for example when you are one among your the classmates. So if you want to find your better career and the better the future, so how innovative you are, even better than your the classmates. Your classmates are your competitors, right? So you must be very competitive with your innovative thoughts and different way of thinking, different way of planning, and that is going to help you a lot. So to be a different and to become a different line of action, you need innovation in the given the competitive world. Right. And another important thing is the science and technology. In science and technology, what happens? Technological changes can be the result of science push the changes in the science and technology based lead to the product innovation. So when you look at the various the products that are there, as I just showed earlier, the cycle. So the cycle in the world model, or even computer world model, the initial model. So when you see that the computer that was used in the world no, in the initial stage, right? Uh, Early stage, so the computer was totally different, right? The size, it's a huge the size. But now you can see that slate is there, and even when the laptop that is there in the palm, so you can just keep your the palm top, and then you can just operate all types of features that are there in the computer. So that means the technology that is available at present. So that is the one the main reason for innovation, right? You can be very innovative because you are surrounded with a lot of advanced science and technology. So that is the one important thing. And then if you just look at the market, that is market is there, the customer's feedback influence the innovation leading to the product improvement. So always you can see that the quality is going to play the major role in the market, in the competitive business, the competitive environment. So when you have a lot of competition in the market, so the customer feedback and customer definition of quality, customer definition of satisfaction, customer expectations. So you have to just look at all these things and then come out with completely innovative. I think beyond the market expectation, think beyond customer expectations, come out with a product that is completely improved and then better than yesterday. Even if you see that the today's automobile industry, right? Automobile industry, if you see the automobile industry and the cars that are there, that is so much technology. Even I think yesterday, the Hyundai, no, they came out with a new technology that they're talking about the green mobility. They're talking about responsible mobility. They're talking about sustainable mobility. Right? There are three important things that they are talking in automobile industry. So in that means the market is now, see, there are some the cars with internet. There are some cars with like the self-driven. So there are cars with voice command, like, and so when you have so much technology, now we are entering into the e-cars, like electronic cars, and so there you will find advanced technology. So when the market is with day by day with so many changes and so many new products, always you have to add new things. Even the car that was there in 2020 is not going to be the same in 2021 model, and 2021 model car is not going to be the same in 2022. So that means every year you will find change in the product. Every year you will find the improvement in the product. So that means how innovative we supposed to be in that. So at the same time, so when you are no, when you are going to be an entrepreneur, you have to understand the market. When you have to understand your no, the competitor in the business, and then accordingly you have to come out with a very innovative product. Very you have to create your own niche market, and where your product is totally different in terms of variety, in terms of serving the customers and everything. So that comes out of your innovation. So because when you are sitting in your lab, so that the lab is going to come, and that is there already in your the institute, university, Vigyan. So that lab is going to become a kind of the model for you. So thinking there, and then acting upon available resources, you can come out with your the product, and then better product than the products that are available in the market, right? So at the same time, you can see that legislations, like a government can force innovation. So sometimes what happens, because of the safety reasons, because of environment and the economic policies, so we all have to be very innovative, because now the government is coming out with so many rules and regulations and policy directions, and then legislative the frameworks. In the given legislative framework, we have to come out with completely the new innovative product. So in that way, you can see that how the fast you're supposed to be as a student thinking entrepreneur. And at the same time, if you can see that human nature, like curiosity. So we have that curiosity, and what happens if I do this, right? So then laziness also. Sometimes there must be a easier way to do these things. So sometimes our laziness itself also become the source or the platform for innovation. So maybe curiosity, the over enthusiasm and overactive, also a kind of source for innovation, and some kind of laziness and lethargy also sometimes become a kind of source for innovation, because of that the condition inculcate in the mind that we have to be very innovative, right? So in that way you can see that all these. So at the same time, the need of innovations in entrepreneurship, like innovation can increase the profit on the value side, and at the same time you can see that the cost side, and either way the value is created for the farm and then customer. So when you see that the value of yours and the cost of yours, so as an individual, so these days why you want to become entrepreneur, right? Why you want to become, why you should become entrepreneur. So just let us think innovative manner, right? So what is the cost of your study? What is the cost of your study? What is the value of your study? The value of study, in the sense, somebody says that after completing MBA, if you are not getting a employment, or you are not able to start your own business, so that means what is the value side, right? Are you really doing your the studies in a manner that you're supposed to be, right? So what is the value side? So the value side is more important thing, that you must be very innovative to enhance the value of your study, to enhance the value of your the career. And at the same time, if you see the cost side also, if you want to just look at the cost benefit of your these things, and then for example, if someone is spending say 25 lakhs in IIMs to study PGP program, right? And then that man is always trying to start a business right now, which is which is going to give a the course turnover in a year, or even the placement that is going to come maybe 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs no, after completing 3 semesters of their PhD program. By the time they are going to spend 20 lakhs. So that means always you have to look at your the studies, the value of your time, the value of your the course, the value of your resources, and at the same time the cost that is there, right? In all exercises. So ultimately, what you supposed to do, how you supposed to be very innovative in all these things. If it is a product line, and if you are a manager, so the innovation is required to create a value or to reduce the cost, and then ultimately the benefit is the coming both for farm as well as the consumers also. So that is the power of innovations. When you are innovative, what will happen? You will have a very bright career, and then no, the bright line of your the future. Then when you just look at no, ultimately the innovation is no, innovation recipes like a creativity plus failure plus iteration. So you can say all these are the very important aspects, like no, the new ways of doing something. So that one has to keep in mind when you are studying and when you are doing your course in management, right? So then let me just look at one important issue here, like Sam Peters' no, idea of innovation. So what innovation is all about? Introduce a new goods, introduce a new service, or introduce a new methods of the production, and open new market or open new source of supply. So you can see in all these directions. Even that may be a small idea. That may be small idea. Maybe a smell, selling no, agarbatti, or even coming out with even what is that masala, even spicy the packet, even the how actually MDR the masala packet the business was started, or even you can see that no Ambika or Darbar Batti how it was started, or even you can see that Polarity Sweets how it was started. Right, so all these were started like in a small way, and they used to sell even the Polarity used to sell the sweets on road in their own streets only. Similarly, you can see that Ramchandra Rao Garu in Yeluru used to sell no, Ambika Darbar Batti, the stick, the making that Ambika Darbar Batti in his home and then selling to the neighbors. So that is the way they started the business. Now you can see that that the size of this Ambika Darbar Batti or even the size of Polarity Sweets. So like that, at any time you can just look at in the present context, because nothing was there in those days. So they created an empire. So now you have everything. Why can't you, start thinking in an innovative manner to start your own empire, right? Why don't you start thinking to start your own empire? So in that context, you can see that how no big is now the opportunity in front of you, right? And then if you just look at the right, and then let me just come out with another important thing that it is not required for you. Yeah, if you just look at the innovative the dimensions like it is all about improve quality, reduce cost, and perform new functions, enhance the current market attractiveness, and then increase the current market offerings, enter the market not currently the served, and improve the learning the curve, enhance the economics of scale, and the permit the production of the better quality of offerings, enhance the human growth and then potential. So these are the some dimensions. When you just sit in your lab, right? Maybe after a few days you can go and then sit in your lab and then think about what is there in your street, what is there the shop, what kind of items are there, right? And then when you are just going and then purchasing some item like potato chips, right? Look at that, the cost, look at the quality, look at the the current market, and look at the size of the product, and why can't you come out with a new one? Like you can see that the surf excel, right? The washing powder. So when washing powder is there and which is manufactured by the multinational company Hindustan Levers, so the Nirma washing powder came, and Nirma washing powder became a big market player. So how it is possible? So when already product is there, you are just coming out with a new product, right? And at the same time, you can see that the Fair and Lovely. The Fair and Lovely is manufactured by the multinational company. Fairhour is manufactured by the domestic company like Cav & Care. So like that, now you can just see that what are the products that are there. So you can just use this innovative dimension and think through, so to find out your career in finding a new business opportunity, right? So just now, if you just look at the another important thing that I want to just mention here, the drivers of innovation. So there are certain drivers. So these drivers you can use to come out with your own ideas. Like the types of innovations like product innovations, process innovations, and service innovations. These are the three the types of innovations. right? And the types of innovations. If you look at the product innovations, it is like innovating the bulb, innovating the mobile, innovating like the chair or a table, like making any kind of the product, manufactured product that comes under the product innovation. So the product innovation is like a change in how the product is noticed by the customer, change in the physical structure. You can come out with, no, you can just think of any product and then the same product over and above. So what you can add, what you can just bring new things into the existing product itself, or you can just come out with a new product, alternative product also, better product, right? So that maybe even your friends, what you are just using, so you can think of the the youth, you think of their requirements, you can come out with an innovative product, right? So if you just look at the no, the process innovations, the process innovation is involving the new or significantly improved method of the product, like delivering the output or even adds the value to the organization. So in the process level, you can see that we are introducing the innovations and then enhancing the quality of the product, right? So the process innovation makes the process like a simpler, faster, the more accurate and more reliable and less expensive. So whatever the process that you understand, so you can just come out with a new idea. So for example, if you just go to any kind of restaurant, you can see the process is there, right? Starting from the material to end the finished product, right? When you just give the order of say idli or even a dosa, so what is the process in making that idli? So in the process, how many stages are there? Can you just cut down any kind of processes? You can simplify, you can faster, you can just know accurately, you can get the good quality. So in that way, you can think and then come out with a new mechanism, a new method to make idlis. So why not? So even sometimes you can see that there are so many products that are available within us. You can come out with, you can understand the process. You can just introduce your innovation and reduce the process time, and then you can just give the better, and you can reduce the unit cost by improving the production capacity, right? So then at the same time, you can see that the service innovation like a efficiency, technology, solutions, reliability, and improvement, and then practices and customers, and then the clients. In all these respects, you can see the services. For example, if you see electricians, and then or even a plumbler, or even there are many services are there, or even TV, the mechanic, or even our computers, the mechanic. So you'll find that all these services, so we can come out with a new idea. So sometimes we can see the service like the cab, like Uber, or even Uber, they don't have any the car, but they are doing the car rental business. So how it is possible? How innovative is it, my dear the friends, right? So we can come out with an innovation, and even for that Oyo Room. Oyo Room is a service. They don't have any kind of portal on their own, but they are selling lakhs of rooms. Right? It is innovation. So how innovation happens in the services? So you can create a product of your own by using the technology, right? So that is the one important aspect. So then let me just look at the phases of innovation. So the phases of innovations are like two: designing the phase and then implementation phases. So whenever you are just looking for any kind of innovation to become a kind of entrepreneur, because innovation is required to become entrepreneur, so you can see the designing phase level and implementation phase level. So the two phases are there. So the designing phase is marked by the much divergent thinking and then creativity, the brainstorming, search for alternatives, etc. Research studies suggest that the management of the design, the phase needs to be marked by greater administrative flexibility, and then these types of innovations to achieve the necessary the growth to survive. So for example, so the designing phase, if it is an organization, so you need a management and administration flexibility. But as an individual, when you are thinking to become entrepreneur with a new product or new service, so you can come out with this kind of designing the phase. Like you can come out with the divergent thinking, or a creative or brainstorming, and for all these things, an alternative, finding an alternative for existing products. So all these things you can use in your lab, the lab that is there in your department, and for all of you. So the incubation lab will provide you to think in all these things in a different way, come out with your own idea, right? So for that we need first of all designing things grassroots level. So then implementation, the phases, it requires a variety of the different models of the management. It involves putting chosen the innovations to work, and much planning needs to be done and careful and coordinated way and controlling and an evaluation manner. So implementation level, what happens? Of course, you are going to implement by just creating your own organization. So because we all know that your idea is the source for creating your own organization. So you have an idea. Your idea is the source for creating organization. In that you can just take the people with the similar kind of thoughts and ideas, and they can become a part of your entire the system, and then you can implement your innovation. Then you can start working, and then you can do your business. Right. So then when you just look at another important thing is the implementation process level. You can see the incremental and then radical innovation. So in the incremental level, you can see that innovations, and then so that is preparing for the future growth. And radical level, like a strike, synergetic, the balance in your innovation portfolio between the immediate and then the future. So you can see there are two dimensions here when you are going to implement. Of course, radical. So as a startup, you will not require that, and you can just start like in 3 stages of your young entrepreneurship, like pre-entrepreneurship, and then you can just the starting, and then even the growing stage. In all these stages, you can see that incremental level entrepreneurial activities that happens in the by using the innovation, right? So then now let me come to the last part. Last part of this, I have another say around 25 minutes. The 25 minutes I'm just going to spend on entrepreneurial ecosystem in India, how it is going to provide you career opportunities. So far, we have seen the two major the parts in the presentation. The first part was the introduction, right? And then second part was innovation and entrepreneurship. How you supposed to have the innovative thoughts, and then how you supposed to think something differently to come up with your business idea, right? So when you have that kind of thought process, now you can look at the ground reality. In ground reality, how you can really take off your business model, right? Business idea. So now, so far we have seen that how you can develop your business idea, and what is the relevance of innovation, and how you can just land with your business idea. And once you land on the ground, so the runway, then the runway, how you can take off. So here I am going to discuss about the runway. So the runway that is going to help you to take off in a smooth way, so that you can fly as a successful entrepreneur, right? So for that, we'll understand this part as entrepreneurial ecosystem in India, and what type of career opportunities are there, right? Now just see India and its the complete nature, right? India and its nature. India ranks high on many macroeconomic indicators as compared to other emerging nations, right? When you look at the macro economy of India, so India is far better. So far better in terms of its the merits. India is the second fastest growing economy in the world. So this is one great opportunity. If you are in some other country, right, it is very difficult, because we have seen many countries. So they are not that much active in terms of economy, right? If you can see that our India, so we have that kind of the system. Then when you see India's fast emerging business destinations, right? You can see the special incentives provided by the governments to attract investors. You can see the special incentives. So India is a fast emerging business destination. How you can understand? So how it is fast emerging business destination. So the first of all, we have a special incentives provided by the government to attract investors, right? We have a special incentives. Special incentives, central level, state level also. Okay, so less time and then few procedures required to start a business, unlike past, right? Unlike past. So the past was no incentives, no special incentives, But now you can see that special less time and few procedures required to start a business. And as I said, that 59 minutes for loan sanction, and sometimes you have even some the days limit also to get the license also, right? So single window clearance, right? In one window you can just complete it. No need to knock several windows, right? And there is no much red tapeism and then bureaucratic hurdles. So such things are not there now, my dear students, friends. You have very a smooth ground, and then you can just look at how you can take off in a better way, right? The less time, and then the few procedures required to start a business, and the growing potential of tier 2 and tier 3 cities. You can see that growing potential of tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and the easy availability of skills, talent pools, and emerging middle class, and increasing disposable income, and the number of emerging sectors witnessing growth. So these are the 7 items that I'm going to discuss in the last part. So with that, you will understand so what kind of the ground, the runway that is there for you to take off as successful entrepreneur, right? What type of ground or runway that is there to develop your career as entrepreneur. Okay, so that we are going to understand. Now look at the first one, the special incentives provided by the government to attract investments. So you can see that the government of India offers a number of incentives to encourage investments, right? Like liberal FDI norms. As much as 98% of Indian economy is open to FDI through the automatic route, like foreign direct investments. 98%, whatever the area you talk about the business, you can get the foreign direct investments. 98% means almost 100%, my dear students, right? So that is the one, the big the push to you. And then special economic zones are electronic hardware technology parks, and then software technology parks, and they offer incentives such as tax exemptions and duty-free imports and low cost the power supply, right? You can see all these special economic zones are there, and even if you just look at Chennai, so we have Mahindra World City, where you will find a BMW manufacturing unit, and then there you will find Infosys, and then Cognizant, and Sundaram Fasteners, and then you can find even Magna is another automobile spares manufacturing unit, and they are just providing automobile spare parts to all multinational brands like BMW, Audi, or even Hyundai, or even Honda, or even MG, Morris Garage. For all these cars, we are just producing the spare parts in Mahindra World City. So if you just Mahindra World City, it is a joint venture between the government of Tamil Nadu, Department of Industries, and then Mahindra Group. So they joined hands and they created a kind of hub in Chennai, and then there you will find so many the promotional and encouraging the schemes for entrepreneurs, right? And then the compliance with the trade related aspects of intellectual property rights, and since 2005. So this has led to an increase in the number of R&D centers set up by the MNCs in the country. So there are some kind of liberal hands even to start R&Ds in India. So that's why you can see that even Oracle R&D is there, and then Microsoft R&D is there in Bangalore, and then Hyderabad. So there are many R&Ds they started. So it is not that you are just looking at all these as a big gains, and they need in the supply chain the micro level small scale or tiny entrepreneurs. So you can just look at what kind of the business you can do with them as a supplier, right? So that is another opportunity. So reduction of the customer's duty, like in the budget, the past, even the recent one also, you can see that is of course in old data. So you can see that the reduction of the customer's duty, and the industry associations, the promoting India, you can see that CAA, ASSOCHAM, and then NASCAM. So all these are giving a lot of encouragement and the support for young people. So let me tell you one best example from Pondicherry. I'm here, the State Council member of Confederation Indian Industries, and we have the scheme like a garnish the scheme, and we just now identify the students from various colleges and universities in Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, and we just now provide a special training for these aspirants to become entrepreneurs. So it is completely responsibility of CAI Puducherry State Council, and we are just now trying to just now get the as many as entrepreneurs every year in every financial year. And another the major event that we organized recently, just last month, the competition. So among the college students, we organized the innovation the competitions. We just know they gave the assignment of developing their own business model. So there are number of business models, and then we just know they gave the prizes and then rewards and then recognition certificates for the best business models that came out of the innovation of various college students. And then we are just going to take those innovations, and then we are just supporting them and helping them to get the finance to start their own venture. So in that way, you can see that how industry associations are promoting no, young people to become entrepreneurs, right? So you can see that the another important thing here, no, the growing potential of Type 2 and Type 3, the cities, right? And we know that now how the cities are developing now. The potential for the Type 2 and Type 3, because no longer no industries or even the business is confined to only Type 1 cities. Like Type 2, Type 3, and even Type 4 cities also now you can see a lot of business opportunities are there. Type 1 in the sense cities such as the Delhi, Mumbai offers developing infrastructure and ease of accessibility and then available the talent and pool, but including high cost. So when you just look at the Type 2, emerging cities like the Pune, Hyderabad, and then Chennai, and then Type 3 like you can see that Nagpur and then Ahmedabad and then Chandigarh. So Type 4 in the sense you can see that even small places like even you can see the Kakinada, even the Rajahmundry, or even you can see the small cities like Vijayawada, right, and then Guntur. So these kind of places can be can be identified. So these are the places now you can see the lot of huge potential is there to start the businesses. Like, and then at the same time you can see that the availability of the talent in every level, even the Type 3 level, the cities now with a lot of potential, lot of infrastructure, and the road facilities are there everywhere. You can see the 4 lines, and then wonderful infrastructure is available. So all these we can make use for our business purpose. When you see that the easy availability of the skill talent the pools, you can see that the talent is that is there. You can see the age wise, and then even the education level. So everywhere you can see that good institutes like starting from IIT, NITs, then IIMs, and private universities like even Vigyan, or even KL, or even Geetam, or even you can see that VIT, or no, the Satyabama, even SRM. I'm talking about South India. If you just look at the India as a whole, you'll find as many as no, the institutions like even the government triple ITs, or even you can see that IACRs and then IAC. So there are so many institutions with a lot of talent, right? So if you want some best talent to take forward your idea, so you can just take them. You can give employment for IIM fellow. Even your MBA from Vignan, you can give employment for IIM fellow, right? If you have an idea, right? So that is the availability of the talent. And further, if you just see emerging middle class, they create an opportunity for companies to tap the changing lifestyle of Indian customers. You know that what is happening now as far as lifestyle is concerned. So from 2005, 2015, and 2025, you can see the number of households in millions and aggregate disposition of income. But now you can see that a lot of disposable income is there. Lifestyle is totally changed. That now you can see that the food, and then even the cosmetics, and then beautification, and then the industry like no, even textile. So these are all the major areas where you can see that many things are happening. So our middle class is expanding. Our middle class is the great opportunity, great market. The market is created, and huge, the potential is there in this respect. So our emerging the middle class, and above middle class, even the poor, that is actually now becoming the middle class. So that segment is going to become a big market in the present and then future. So you can just target them as your customers, right? So then if you just look at the increasing the disposable income, so income that is there now, it is beyond the expectations, right? So there is a saying that so now the income youth among the youth, so that is equal to the parents, the parents whose experience is 20, 25, even 30 years of experience, their income is equal to 2, 3 years experience of an IT employee, or even employees who is working with oil industry, or even other potential industries. So when you have this kind of increased disposable income and high-end income, you can see that how this kind of increased income is going to give you the great business opportunity. Okay, so in that respect, you can see these the figure which reflects that how the income is increasing and disposable income is available for expenditure purpose. So now the spending is the day of the order. So the days have gone when we used to save lot, but now instead of saving, we are now the spending lifestyle started in India. So that is going to become big opportunities for all of you, my dear the students, right? So then let me just look at some of the number of emerging the sectors witnessing the growth, like key sectors, IT, telecom, and then healthcare. So as far as these are concerned, you can see that how big is the sectors. IT, you know that so several activities you can think of in this IT line, and then in telecom line also. Then you can consider healthcare, because as far as fitness is concerned, and now there are the good business the business ideas. Even online fitness centers are there, and now the people are just doing a lot of business by just giving the consultancy and then guidance for health and fitness related advice. So in that way, you can see the many recently last, I think because of COVID-19, so many online the fitness centers started, right? Online health consultants started, so they are doing a lot of business, right? You may not have expertise in the regarding the health issues, but you can hire them. If you have an idea, you can start your own business. Okay, so that is the way you can see opportunity. Then look at the India's offer both the domestic and market opportunities, and offers showing opportunities for multinational companies. So as far as the domestic market is concerned, you can see that the vast population, that is the big the market, and then you can see that offshore opportunities like availability of skilled talent pool and the cost saving, knowledge, and then R&D hubs, and then sourcing of opportunities like availability of raw material, and the presence of the strong industry infrastructure and developed technology, and then cost saving. So this is another area where you can see that we can have a wonderful business opportunities. For example, let me tell you one small example here. My student got an idea to take a franchise from Tony and Guy. You all might be knowing Tony and Guy is hairdressing salon, right? Hairdressing salon. So this Tony and Guy, it is a unisex salon. So my student has taken franchise, and he just opened Tony and Guy in a mall that came just 2 years back in Pondicherry, right? He has taken that franchise, and then he is getting 13 lakhs per month. So he just employed 10 employees, right? He's paying 15,000 rupees for each one, and he's paying 7% royalty to Tony and Guy, the company, and then he's the paying 1.5 lakh rent for mall, right? And then he's spending another 3 lakhs for material, and after just leaving all these expenses, and he's actually net profit is 3 lakh 25,000 per month, right? 3 lakh 25,000 per month. So by just taking franchise from Tony and Guy, right? And he's giving employment for 10 people, right? And then you can see that how he just got an idea to take this franchise. And then at the same time, you can see that there is another the cream ice cream, right? cream, ice cream, and it is actually, it is, I think, Hyderabad based. So they are giving franchise. So someone has taken the franchise in Pondicherry, and that fellow is earning 1.5 lakh per annum, per month. So you can just look at as many as opportunities. Similarly, you can see that opportunity of taking the franchise of KFC, franchise of all these multinational food chain. And when you just look at the McDonald's or whatever it is, so if you take the franchise of any of these, even you can see some of the FMCG, the products, multinational, the companies are entering into Indian market. So you can take the franchise of those things, and then you can earn even a few lakhs every month, right? And simply sitting in the counter, or even you can employ someone, and you can just use the brand of that company. You can do a wonderful business. So in that way, you can see some of the examples, like in the case study, like a domestic, the market opportunities, like the McDonald's. So McDonald's, you can take the franchise, you can see that now how the company is becoming successful here. There is another KFC, and then McDonald's, and there is another company in UK based at par with KFC, like that is the South India chicken. So the South chicken, it is like a South chicken, South yes K SFC, no, South Fried Chicken, right? South Fried Kitchen, and then so that is there. Now they are looking for franchises in India, master franchise, and then sub franchise. So if you take that, and then maybe we don't know tomorrow. So there is another the parallelly at par with the KFC, right? So the KFC may lose the market, and the SFC is going to increase the market in future. So why don't you just look at the taking up that kind of franchises to as in your business venture? So in that way, you can see that this is a kind of one case. Then look at the another one, offshore opportunities like IBM. So IBM required so many the BPOs. So like so you can see, you can become a kind of BPO for IBM. You can provide service for them, right? And at the same time, you can see automobile company, the sourcing opportunities. You can become the supplier, as when they are just going to outsource their business. So like that, now every business is now thinking about outsourcing, and you can just start any kind of the supplier of any of these opportunities. You can become your own the boss. So then you can look at the Cadbury. The Cadbury is another one, like the food business. So you can just take up this kind of the business opportunities, and then you can start your own ventures, right? So with this, let me just look at finally entrepreneurial mindset. It is all about harnessing the potential of new products by creating the market space for them, and it also organizes the sufficient forces and then resources to develop, launch, and then commercialize their new product, or in order to maximize its market value. So you can just start your own product, or even you can become a kind of supplier for existing products, or you can just come out with alternative products for existing products. And now in the internationalization and the globalization era, so the all big multinational brands of different product lines, they want to enter into Indian market. So why can't you just take the franchise of any of these? You can start your own venture, and then you can slowly you can become your own the boss of your business, right? With that, let me just the stop here. It is almost all 7:59 and 8 o'clock. So I'm not going to stick beyond that. And if you have any questions, one or two questions, I'm very happy to attend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the webinar. Participants, any question, please kindly ask. Any questions from the participants?
I think It's a dinner time for them.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Venkatrao,
Yeah.
hello.
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Venkatrao, this is Dr.
Yes, sir.
Masudan Rao, Rector of the Institute.
Sir.
At the
Nice to
beginning, I
talk to you,
missed
sir.
it because there was a power failure here.
Okay.
So I am very much thankful to you, sir, for joining this session and enlightening our faculty and students. So I'm totally following how did the various entrepreneur things, the live examples you have taken, so many people, okay. Really, I hope our students are inspired by our talk, and we wish that your association will continue with us for a long time, sir. And on
Sure,
behalf of all my students, my staff, on behalf of our IAS cell, I thank you very much. I am basically professor of chemical engineering and the rector of this institute, sir. Okay.
Okay, sir.
I
Okay, sir.
visited
Nice
your
to talk to you.
campus. I visited your
Okay.
campus a good number of times. Professor Satyanarayana,
Okay.
physics professor.
Yeah.
You
I
met,
know
I
him.
might have, you may be knowing him. Huh?
Yeah, I know, sir. I know very well.
Yeah.
And we are living in the same area. We are
Okay.
living in the same area. Yeah.
Okay.
So his house and then my house not far away, and we
Okay.
meet in the morning walk.
Oh, great. Please convey my
We
regards to
have
him.
a small
So I visited
info.
his laboratory many times, sir.
Okay.
So
Okay, nice.
lithium-ion battery laboratory. I visited his laboratory many times. I stayed in our guest house also. So once again, thank you very much. You are one of the Srinivasa Rao is there, no sir, a management faculty.
Yes, sir. Srinivasulu in
Yes,
international
Srinivasa Rao.
school.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
from Guntur. So he worked with us. So I also know him, sir.
Yeah.
So I
I
have
know.
many close associates at Pondicherry University. Now also now you are I became one of the associate of you also. Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
valuable time, sir. So thank you, sir. Is it fully functioning your university?
No, sir. It is no completely online because
Oh,
we have students from across the country.
uh,
Uh, we didn't open campus so far.
oi,
We are
really?
thinking to open slowly
Uh,
for students who have labs
okay.
only. Maybe after January, the campus will be fully open, sir.
I see.
After
But we
January.
we opened it fully, sir. Last was almost three, four
Yeah.
months we are working at full
Actually,
strength.
because you don't have any problem because your students are nearby, right? Maybe within the state. So our students they come from all states, Jammu, Kashmir, and even Northeast. They travel by air and they travel by
We
train.
have few students, but most of them belong to Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Yeah. That's fine. I understand. That is, you have the demographic problem is there.
Risk is more. That's why.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Sir,
So once
really
again,
thank you very much for giving me this opportunity,
yeah.
and I hope that my small thoughts and then sharing of my ideas would be useful for young students to
Okay.
become entrepreneurs.
Yeah, let's hope, sir. Thank you very much once again on behalf of our
Thank you, sir.
ISSL, sir. Thank you. Shankar
Yes,
can
sir.
take
Thank
up.
you, sir.
Sir, I
I'm just
want,
leaving the room. Huh?
Yeah.
Thank you all,
sir,
and I
I
wish you
want to
all the
convey
best
a
and good
vote of
night.
thanks, sir.
Yeah, please.
Okay, madam. Yeah,
Madam,
please.
madam, before
Sir,
that,
sir, yes, sir. I want to convey a small vote of thanks, sir. Sir, your talk on entrepreneurship and innovation as career opportunity included what kind of mindset entrepreneurs should have and how to develop their thinking. The statistics you have given on youth of the world and the challenges of young entrepreneurs is very helpful for our students and motivating. Your presentation has covered a lot of productive information on youth entrepreneurship and can change the perception of our students towards risk taking. So you have discussed about the scenario in India and the key initiatives it's been taking to encourage entrepreneurs is going to be very helpful for our students to create hope in them. So you have also shared the opportunities the young entrepreneurs have today through ecosystem and types of youth entrepreneurship will make our students to understand in which area they can concentrate on to bring up their ideas into the market and flourish. Your talk on how creativity and innovation is important to an entrepreneur, reasons to innovate and need will encourage our students to focus on creativity by working on their perspective. It's a pleasure to listen to such a comprehensive talk by you, sir. I thank our rector, sir, principal ma'am, for supporting the team I thank the members of IIC, Idea Lab, and EISC for organizing such a wonderful session. I once again thank our Professor Y. Venkatrao sir for taking a time for us and for students and delivering such a wonderful talk, sir. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Aditi ma'am. Thank you. It's a pleasure
My
having you
pleasure,
all
sir.
here. Yeah, right. So can I leave the room with all your permission?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you,
All
and good night to all
participants.
of you.
Good night, sir. All participants, I have shared the feedback links.
Good night, sir.
Kindly answer the feedback links. Give your feedback on the feedback links. The feedback links are in the chat box. Once you have given the feedback, you can leave the room, leave the meeting. Thank you all for your participation.
Shankar sir, can I leave the session?
Yes, madam. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, madam.
Th- my
Yeah.
pleasure, sir. Thank you so much.
Participants, please submit the feedback and leave the room. I'll be keeping the feedback links active for another 5 minutes. You can submit the feedback and leave the room.